Hey, and we are back for block number 16 of our Minecraft Mob Head Blanket. And before we get started, I just wanted to say a special thank you to two of my viewers that are always so kind and leave comments on these videos. It is certainly a confidence booster for me. I'm sure you can tell that I am not super comfortable being in front of the camera, and I know it will get easier as I go, but that is a huge, huge confidence booster. So thank you to Kim and to Annette for all your kind comments that you leave on my videos. So block number 16 is a strider. A strider is a passive mob and can walk on the lava, woohoo, and can be saddled by the player, but you have to lead them around with some kind of fungus or something. So for this little guy, I used a combination of yarn brands. I used the Premier Basics, and I also used some I Love This yarn. And the bulk of the block is in the terracotta I Love This yarn. And the rest of it is the Premier Basics. So it's, I mean, you can mix and blend yarns, it's fine, as long as they're pretty much the same weight. Sometimes in the same line, some of the yarns can be thicker than others. I've definitely noticed that with this yarn. And if it is like super, super thin compared to other yarns in that same block, I might add a sixth stitch in my bobble. Instead of it being 5 double crochets together, I might add a sixth one just to give it the little extra poofiness so that it'll be like the others. I haven't had to do that with all the colors, but there have been a few colors that I've had to do that with. So that's always an option for you. Okay, the colors in today's block are black, white, a medium to light gray. I used my medium gray. And in the I Love This yarn, I used the terracotta, which is more like a rust color versus terracotta. And fern green for the border. I am using a 6mm crochet hook, but you should use the appropriate size hook for your tension and the yarn that you are choosing to use. The graph or chart that we are using for these blocks are 8x8, meaning 8 bobbles wide and 8 rows high. You're going to read them from left to right because when you're looking at the chart, you are working on the back side of your work when you're doing the bobble stitch, so that when you flip it over, you want it to look like your chart. So if you read it from left to right, or if you're left-handed, from right to left. So the stitches that you need to know to complete this project are a chain stitch, a single crochet in the back bump, and the bobble stitch. And the bobble stitch is simply 5 double crochets together, followed by a single crochet into the next stitch. That gives it its pixel or bit. Because what we're doing is we're pixel art, but we're using our crochet hooks instead of a crayon or a marker. So for those of you who do not know how to do any of these stitches, this next segment coming up shows the chain, the back bump single crochet, and the bobble stitch. Also, it shows you how to change colors in the middle of a row and how we're doing the border around each block. Now, if you have already watched this clip in the previous block videos, then feel free to jump ahead the 12 minutes or so that it takes to get through that to the end of the video to see what strider looks like. But if you're new or you're unsure how to do it, it's real important that when you do your bobble stitches that they line up in a row just like a little column. So you might want to take the time to watch that clip of the video. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is make a slip knot. Each one of the graphs, you will chain 16 plus 1 for a turning chain, so a total of 17. You will then turn and do a single crochet into the back bump. In 16 of the chains, you're going to skip the first one. You will back bump single crochet all the way across till you reach the end of the row. And when you get there, you should have 16. Okay, so I have 16. It should look like this. Both sides look nice. Makes it easier for when you add the border. So for the first bobble row, you will chain 3. Turn your work, and we're going to do 4 double crochets, incomplete double crochets, into the same stitch that our chain stitch attaches to. So you yarn over, go through the stitch, pull your yarn through, and go through 2 loops, leaving 1 on your hook. You now have 2. Yarn over, go through that same stitch, pull your yarn through, go through 2 loops, you now have 3. So you can do that 2 more times. We now have 4. So we need 1 more. And that makes 4. Okay, so we have a total of 5 loops because of our chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you want to yarn over and pull through all 5 of those loops. And the very next stitch, you do a single crochet. That single crochet is what gives you the nice pop-out bobble. That makes our pixel or our bit. So each bobble stitch after the first one in every row, you do 5 double crochets together, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'm going to do that for a total of 5 times. So that was 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. You had 6 on your hook because you had 1 loop remaining from the single crochet. Then you follow that up with a single crochet. And then repeat that for the next bobble. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. This is 3 and 4 and 5. See how we have 6 loops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over and go through all 6 and follow that with a single crochet. And see how our pixels are popping out? Okay, so you will do that all the way to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, your very last stitch is a single crochet. And it should look like this with 8 bobbles. Yes, it's going to curl up at first. As your work moves along and it grows, it flattens itself back out. So for the next row, which is the beginning of row 2, we do a single crochet, turn our work, and then we're going to place a single crochet in each stitch. When you do above the bobble, make sure you're only getting those top 2. Don't work down into this. You're going to put a single crochet into the single crochet, and a single crochet into the top of the bobble, all the way across. And when you make it to the end, you should have a total of 16 single crochets. So it should look like this. A row of single crochet all the way across. Then you will, for your next bobble row, you will chain 3, turn your work, and do the 4 incomplete double crochets into the first stitch. The first stitch meaning the same stitch that your chain 3 is connected to. Pull through all 5 loops and follow up with a single crochet. So when you get to the part where you're going to do a color change, you want to do it in the single crochet. So pull your working yarn forward. Bring in your new color, leaving a nice tail so you can work it in. And you're going to complete that single crochet with the new color. And, pull it snug, not super tight, but pull it down snug. And we're going to work over top of those. So we do a bobble because our color change was in the single crochet. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through them all, and a single crochet into the next stitch. Now this particular one has 2 of the black bobbles. So do the second one. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through all 6. Go to do my single. Now I need to go back to my other color, and I carried it with me. I don't always carry it with me, but these are such a small surface that when I only have 1 or 2 blocks of one color, I will carry the color with me if that is what comes next. Okay, so I'm going to pull my black forward, bring up my other color, complete the stitch with that, and we're going to tighten it down. Just make it a little snug. And then we go right into the bobble stitch. Single crochet. Okay, so that looks nice and clean from the front side. Oh, I didn't bring my scissors with me. Okay, so I'm just going to let that fall forward there and move on to my next bobble. Okay, so depending on which pattern you're working on, you're starting to see it take shape. You will continue this process for all 8 rows, and then we will come back for the border. Okay, once you've completed your block, you want to put a border around it. Each of the blocks will have a border just to make them easier to sew together. So you're going to start wherever you would like. And some people like to start in corners, some people like to start on the actual edge of it itself. So you're going to single crochet into each stitch across the top. And each stitch across the bottom. When you get to the corner, it is a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet into the same space, chain 2. We're going to work past the bobble and into the stitch where the bobble and the single crochet meet on the side. Sometimes it can be tough like that one was. chain 2, skip over the bobble, and come into that single crochet. That one was a little easier. Chain 2, skip over the bobble, go into the single crochet. So that is how you handle both sides. And the corners are single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Across the bottom and the top is just simply a single crochet into each stitch. The second round of the border is double crochet in each stitch across the top. Okay, the corner gets 5 double crochet. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. When you come down the sides where you did the chain 2 gets 2 double crochets, and the single crochet gets 1 double crochet. So 2 double crochets into each chain 2 space and 1 double crochet into the single crochets. So you will work that all the way around, the top and bottom, 1 double crochet in each stitch, all 4 corners, 5 double crochets, and the bobble sides where the chain 2s are, 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, 1 double crochet into the single crochet. And once you complete that second round, your block border is complete. So it's 1 round of the singles and chain 2s and 1 round of double crochets. And it looks pretty darn cool if you ask me. Okay, so that wasn't so bad, right? Looks simple enough, and once you get that muscle memory going for the stitch, it is pretty easy. Now, I was working on one last night called Blaze, and I was like on my 3rd row, and I'm like, why aren't my stitches lining up? So I pull it out, redo the row, still not lining up. What is the problem here? I had to completely take the row out. I had to go back and double check my single crochet row that immediately follows the bobble stitch row. And somehow I had 17 stitches there instead of 16. So it is important that you double check every now and then, flip your work over, make sure your bobbles are lining up, and count and make sure that you have 16 stitches and not 17 or 15, because once the bobbles end up not in a column, it just won't look right. So now, do you want to see what Strider looks like? All right, here he is in all his glory. He is, when I Googled what Strider looks like, he is a reddish brown or red, depending on what he's doing. That's why I went with this terracotta rust color. And he's cute. So you can see what I was talking about, where the bobbles line up in a column. That's how you want it to look. You want it lined up. You don't want it to be scattered all over the place. So that's him. That's the back side. It definitely looks different than the front. And so you can, when you go to put them together, you'll know whether you've got it facing the right direction or not. So that's him. He is block number 16. I'm getting so excited because we're getting close. we're getting close to where we can start stitching these together and making the actual blanket out of it. I can't wait. I mean, I'm a little further ahead than you guys are because I have to make them to show you what they look like, but I can't wait. Okay, so here is the deal. For the low, low price of a thumbs up on this video, you can go down below into the description and find the link for the graph for Strider. And you will also find links for all the other videos thus far in this series, and so that you can go back and you can pick and choose which ones you want to use. You can duplicate the ones that you really like, leave out the ones that you don't like. It's totally up to you. Curious about what's next? Well, if you click this box right up here, over here, it will take you to the next block in this series.